Does Matt James regret becoming the Bachelor after racism scandal? May 2, 2021. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation news fans. Matt James was supposed to have the most historic season to date. He was cast to be the first black lead of The Bachelor. However, as everyone now knows, drama struck and damaged his season. Plus, not only did accusations of racism surface about his final rose winner, they also surfaced about longtime host Chris Harrison. If that wasn't enough, the women on Matt's season brought an incredible amount of drama and immaturity. Now, with all that he knows now, does Matt regret becoming the Bachelor? Does Matt James regret becoming the Bachelor? News shared Matt's thoughts on if he has any regrets about being the Bachelor. Even with all the drama his season created, Matt does not regret becoming the Bachelor. In fact, he remains very thankful for the opportunity given to him. Matt said, "It was a great experience and I learned a lot about myself." He continued, "A lot of things I wouldn't have learned if I wouldn't have gone through something like that." Matt also knows being in the public eye can be hard. He said, "You've got to take the good with the bad." Matt continued, "The bad just being people speculating on the type of person that you are or things that they might not know about. And you've just got to take it in stride and hope that the good things that you do outshine the negative things that are created through just being out and about." He also obviously knows that the media can turn things around sometimes. However, Matt says he's still the same person he was before The Bachelor. Matt said, "Anything and everything can be spun into a story now. Fundamentally, I'm the same person as I was before the show." He's focusing on fitness more. Amid all the rumors and drama that surfaced from Matt's season, he's working more on his fitness. He's getting back into running and training. In fact, he also dished one of his favorite people to run with is Hannah Brown. Recall the two quarantined together last year in Florida with Tyler Cameron and friends. Matt said, "Me and Hannah formed a really strong relationship over quarantine, living together and exercising together, doing practically everything that everyone else is doing together, making funny videos, cooking, fighting." He continued, "One of the things that we bonded over was fitness." Matt partnered up with Dick's Sporting Goods in hopes of getting more interested in running and being outdoors. As for Matt and Rachel Kirkconnell, sources say the two are trying to give their love another go. Their seemingly on-again, off-again romance appears to be back on. Fans spotted the two together in California last week. Stay tuned for more updates. When Matt James was announced as the first black lead of The Bachelor, the franchise celebrated the milestone with fervor. America, still wrestling with its racial reckoning in the summer of 2020, welcomed a new face, one that wasn't cut from the same cloth of nearly 24 leads before him. Handsome, athletic, educated, and charismatic, Matt was a fresh hope for a franchise that had long been criticized for its lack of diversity. But behind the scenes, Matt James didn't feel like a trailblazer. He felt like a target. 3 years later, in a candid conversation surrounded by people he trusts, Matt finally voices the unspoken question, "Do I regret it?" And the answer isn't simple. Chapter 1. The Silent Pressure. Even before his season aired, Matt knew he was carrying a mantle that wasn't entirely his choice. As soon as the George Floyd protests surged through the nation, ABC scrambled to make changes. The Bachelor franchise, known for its slow progress on racial issues, faced mounting pressure. And Matt, he was the answer they presented. "They didn't choose me because I was the best guy," he later said in a private podcast. "They chose me because they were cornered." Before Matt could understand the rules of the Bachelor world, he was already being crowned a symbol of change. But symbols aren't allowed to be messy, and Matt James, he was very human. Chapter 2. The Fantasy versus Reality. From the moment Matt stepped out of the limo, viewers saw a composed man with deep eyes and a charming grin. But the fantasy wasn't his. It belonged to the producers, the audience, and a machine that needed him to play a role. In interviews, he was polished. In dates, he was romantic. But the truth? Matt didn't know how to act. He wasn't an alumni of The Bachelorette, nor had he been groomed by the franchise. He was thrown in blind. The hardest part wasn't being the Bachelor, he said later. It was pretending I was okay. The reality hit harder as the weeks passed. On set, he felt isolated. Off camera, whispers circulated about whether a black lead could maintain ratings. Producers smiled to his face and panicked behind closed doors. They wanted diversity, but not too much diversity. They wanted a fairy tale, not my truth. Chapter 3. Rachel Kyrkiso Nnealil. Then came Rachel. From the first date, the chemistry between Matt and Rachel Kirkconnell was palpable. She reminded him of home, of stability, of the kind of love that was simple and unburdened. What he didn't know, what none of us did, was the firestorm that would follow. Just as their relationship began to blossom on screen, photos surfaced. Rachel at an antebellum-themed fraternity party. Rachel liking controversial social media posts. And suddenly, the narrative changed. Matt was no longer the Bachelor. He was now the Black Bachelor, and every move he made would be dissected through that lens. I wasn't prepared for what it meant to love someone who hurt people that looked like me, he later admitted, but I was in love. Chapter 4. The final, no one saw coming. When the season finale aired, there was no engagement. There wasn't even a plan. Matt chose Rachel, but the weight of the scandal made it impossible for them to celebrate. Instead, viewers watched Matt walk away. It wasn't a normal breakup, it was a reckoning. On national television, a black man had to explain racism to a white woman he loved, to millions of viewers, and to a network that had failed to protect him. "You have to understand what it means for me," he said, his voice cracking. "It's not just about love, it's about who I am." And for the first time, the Bachelor franchise couldn't edit out the truth. Chapter 5. After the final rose and the fallout. In the After the Final Rose special, Matt sat across from Emmanuel Akko, another black man, tasked with facilitating a conversation no Bachelor lead had ever faced. The silence was deafening. The pain was visible. Rachel apologized. Matt listened. But the damage was done, not just between them, but in Matt's heart. I was angry. Not at her, not at me, but at the entire thing. The show, the audience, the way I became a spectacle. The internet didn't help. One side accused him of abandoning love. Another called him a sellout for picking Rachel in the first place. And through it all, Matt remained stoic until he didn't. Chapter 6. The reality begins to grow. Away from the cameras, the conversations turned internal. Matt found himself questioning everything: his decision to join, the motives of the producers, the way he was portrayed. He spoke to close friends like Tyler Cameron. He confided in Michelle Obama's memoir. He journaled. And slowly, the questions started to form. What if I said no to being the Bachelor? Chapter 7. The Lovi Vit Ifoloid. Despite the chaos, Matt and Rachel found their way back to each other. She did the work, privately and publicly. He watched, hesitated, and then forgave. Today, they are still together. But their love isn't performative. They've chosen to live outside the spotlight, except for occasional updates. They run races, travel, and work on causes close to their hearts. But even with Rachel by his side, Matt admits the scars of the show remain. "I'm happy now," he says. But happiness came in spite of The Bachelor, not because of it. Chapter 8. Where the franchise failed. In the wake of Matt's season, The Bachelor made promises of change. They hired diversity consultants, shuffled producers, and launched new initiatives. But viewership declined. Trust eroded. Matt's season wasn't just controversial, it was transformational. It forced viewers to question what love on television really looked like. It forced ABC to reckon with its past. But at what cost? Matt still doesn't know if it was worth it. Chapter 9. Rieth Lilicis from a Nuvematit. 3 years later, Matt James stands before a group of college students at a diversity conference. He's older, wiser, and unfiltered. I wanted to represent something bigger than myself, he says. And I think I did. But would I do it again? That's the hard part. He lets the silence linger. Some days I wish I never did it. Other days I know I had to. The crowd is silent, processing the honesty. Then someone asks, "Do you regret becoming the Bachelor?" Matt takes a deep breath. I regret the way they handled it. I regret how unprepared I was. I regret trusting a system that wasn't built for me. But I don't regret showing the world who I am, even if they weren't ready. Chapter 10. Closing the chapter. Matt James never asked to be a symbol, but he became one. Not because of a ring, not because of a final rose, but because he dared to be real in a space built for illusion. He still runs, he still reads, he still loves Rachel. But every now and then he stares at the mirror and wonders what life would have been like if he had said no. Then he smiles. Maybe I wasn't their bachelor, but I was my own. And that, perhaps, is more powerful than proposal. EPILOGE. Legacy Redefined. Matt James didn't shatter The Bachelor, but he cracked the illusion. His legacy won't be measured in ratings, but in conversations, in courage, in the uncomfortable truths he forced America to confront. And while the question of regret may linger in the background, one thing is certain: Matt James didn't just date on television, he changed it.